Welcome back, guys. I'm Zell, and today we're doing the first Drinkin' and Thinkin' of 2017. So, you know the deal. Grab your drink of choice. You've got 9 seconds after the intro starts, and I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, hold on. I've been drinking coffee for the past hour. We're going to go through this stuff in a hurry, and I may jitter a little bit. Anyhow, last week we talked about low volume production knives, like this VR71. Great knife. If you get a chance to try one, I suggest you do it. They're low production. There's only going to be 4,000 of the VR71s total. Only 1,000 of them set up like this. You know, we talked about these things too. You know, who knows how many of these there are, but it's the supply and demand's meeting, so there's apparently enough. And I really do think that's a great place if you're pushing that $100 range to maybe see if you want to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. And check the Spydercos in that group of knives too, in that price range, and maybe the ZTs. But be sure, you know, to hit up Browse and Southern Grind, and there's a lot of other companies that I'm missing here, and I apologize to you. You know, if I haven't covered your knives, let me know, especially if you've got something in that $100 to $300 range that people need to know about. Let me know, and we'll get it on here. We'll get it out there for the folks that might be interested. Anyhow, those things are great. And in the first part of 2016, you know, I started this channel a little over a year ago. In fact, November 19th, 2015. And whenever I flipped the lights on up here, my intent was to cover budget knives. You know, these things. Under 50 bucks. Whenever I put this Delica on the channel, I really figured that was one of the highest dollar knives that I would ever put on the channel. I never figured that we would ever get a Hinderer out, or Spider Monkey out, or heck, I didn't even think we'd get one of these Marksmen out. Why? Because I really didn't think, and I was wrong, but I didn't think there would be a viewership for that end of knives. I guess I should have watched Jim Skelton a little better. I mean, he's got lots and lots of followers, and he does knives most of us can't even think about affording. But anyhow, too much caffeine, right? Yeah. Anyhow, all those knives are great. And that first half of 2016, I was in it. I watched SHOT Show. I made a whole bunch of pre-orders. And man, by March and April, I started to have knives show up. And it was all new for 2016 stuff. And I started sending knives back to companies and back to retailers. And I had more knives in the air than I had on my desk, because they were all pretty much junk. You guys saw the ones that made it through, the ones that weren't. But I kind of have this rule, and you guys can tell me if you want me to change it. But the rule I kind of have is, if I put a knife, say this code 4, if I have this code 4 and I can't think of at least a few good things to say about it, and at least 50-50 with the bad, I'm probably not going to put it on the channel. And, you know, maybe that's the wrong way to think about it. Let me know what you think down in the comments, because if you would like to see some more negative reviews or my thoughts on whatever shows up, you know, I can do a review on a Praetorian. You know, if somebody sends me one or something, I'm not going to give 600 bucks for one. But my review is going to be very much like Nick Shabazz's review. So, anyhow, if they were junk, I didn't want to put them on the channel. I didn't want to show you guys junk. I didn't want these companies to be looking at the reviews and say, well, that guy's saying all kinds of horrible, nasty things about my knife, and I've got one over here that's perfect. Well, maybe you do, but I don't have that one. And I try to buy or borrow everything that goes on the channel so that I don't have knives coming in from companies. Now, I'm not against that. If there's companies out there that want to send me knives for review, I'm more than open to that, but I will disclaimer it if that happens. Anyhow, point I'm trying to make here is they were all junk. If they weren't, you guys got to see them. And if you want to see junk, let me know. We'll do videos on junk. I've got a big pile of them back here that I've got to go back to the various companies that I just got frustrated about and haven't sent back in yet. What happened there, and that was May, June timeframe, I got really frustrated with the whole deal, and you probably saw the price of knives kind of go up on the channel about that time, with the exception of Ganzo. And Ganzo came about because there was a young man from another country that sent me a message and wanted me to look at some Ganzo knives. And I had never really looked at Ganzo because I had this bad opinion. I saw that they had been making knives in likeness of many of our standard American knives and European knives that we have been using for years. But the young man was pretty serious about this, and he showed me some of the pricing information that he had to deal with over there. And a Ganzo knife at the time come up to about $10 US, and with the exchange rate, a Metal-Lark II came up to something like $70 US because of how all the money changing works. So I thought, well, I'll grab a couple of these Ganzos, and I got the two that he had mentioned. One of them ended up being absolute junk, just as bad as any of the other stuff I'd got. So I sent it back, but the other one was that 727M, and it was a good knife. Was it a great knife? Well, no, just like any knife, it had some issues, but it was darn good for like $12. Oh my goodness, it was great for $12. The 440C Ganzo uses is a wee bit soft, but it's better than Aus 8. So I was torn whenever I did those 727 videos and the 727 and the Rat 1 videos, because there were some mechanical issues with the Ganzo that the Rat doesn't have. But man, they're really close, and honestly, if it wasn't for the mechanical issues, which hopefully Ganzo has straightened up, and they have in most of their newer knives, the Ganzo is a better knife than the Rat 1 with Aus 8. It's not a better knife than the Rat 1 with D2, but the Rat 1 with Aus 8. So anyhow, this young man opened me up to the world of Ganzo knives, and I've got to watch, just like the Birds have and some of the others, got to watch Ganzo grow. And they have grown continually and gotten better. And then somewhere around July, I started noticing other knife brands that had some budget offerings in that $50 to $100 range that were just unreal. Kaiser had several with S35V in there for a while that were under $100 or right at $100 with awesome actions and just phenomenal build quality. And so I ended up getting one of those, and it was like, wow, this thing's freaking awesome, and it's like $60. And then, and it's comparing to some of my more expensive knives, comparing favorably to them. And then, they had their flashbang. They started coming out with this series, and you can all correct me because I can't remember, or fix me because I can't remember what the series is called. But it's kind of their budget series. They went to using VG10 and G10 scales in a bunch of knives that are similar to or almost exactly like what's in their upper series, the series that costs, in excess of $150. And their VG10 is good. It's better than the Spyderco stuff. It's a little harder, maybe a little chippier, but it's good. And I like G10, so made for some really good knives like this flashbang. And we talked about some of those, and I do consider them budget knives comparing and that's kind of a comparison to what the upper line costs. When the upper line is costing $150 to $300 or $400, and this is the same thing, and we've just changed out materials, but we still have very good materials, and we're under $100. I think this one was like $55 or $60 too. This is, in my opinion, a budget knife compared to the upper line, and it puts it in reach of us mere mortals. And then something big happened. Ontario Knife Company announced a run of Rat Model 1s in D2. Now, I kind of skipped on the initial run and thought, yeah, they're just going to run a couple thousand of them and it'll be over. You know, it's kind of a special thing. But they came back, and I was able to get one. That black one that had the rosewood scales was not a special edition, and it only cost about $35. Again, budget knife world kicking butt. Pretty darn good D2 steel. Now, it's not Jason Browse's D2, but it's equivalent with Benchmade. And in a Rat, which is a well-built knife. And I thought, well, budget world's over now. Rat 1 and D2. We'll see the Rat 2 come out in D2, and then budget knife game's over. Well, I was wrong again, because then the Essie knives, the Zancudo and Avispa, both came out in D2, which I have one of those in transit, I hope, that I'll get to be able to show you guys soon. And that kind of is the sum of 2016. It started out on a very low note for the budget knife industry, because all those brands that we trusted and believed in, as far as I'm concerned, they all failed me. They need to fix that. You know, I see that CRKT is coming out with a pretty extensive 2017 lineup, and I'll see if I can get some of those in, and hopefully they're going to be great. I don't know what Kershaw's up to. They still have knives that they haven't, from their 2016 line, that still haven't hit the store. So hopefully they're going to put a focus on QC and get some good knives coming over here. You've seen some Kershaws here in the past couple of months. You know, you saw the Pico, and I forget what this other one's called. It's laying here somewhere. It's Rexford Design, I believe it was. Yep. And those are much better than what I got earlier in the year, so I'm hoping that Kershaw has saw the error of their ways and they're making us better knives. I hope that CRKT has done the same. I hope that SOG's doing the same, and Gerber, and so on, because they've got competition now. Ganzo is rebranding themselves with this Firebird line, and I've seen a G-Lock in a few places. I don't know if Ganzo is really rebranding and getting rid of the Axis Lock terminology. If they are, it's a smart thing. And we've got the Kaisers. I forget what it's called, but their economy series, their budget series, if you will. And they're still making some S35VN knives in that under $100 range. We even got Cold Steel, and as you guys know, I'm not a huge Cold Steel fan, but CTS XHP and a $75 knife. It's a good time to be out there, and I hope that those companies that we've always trusted and liked will realize that and get their act together. Well, guys, I know this has been more of a me talking to the companies and me putting out kind of a state of the knife industry, in my opinion, drinking and thinking. But let me know your opinion. Let's share, let everybody know your opinion so we can talk about this stuff. Because if we just let these companies do whatever they will and we don't voice our opinion, then we end up with junk. That's what happened over the past several years. What happens is, take this Pico for example. If we weren't out here making noise, the average person would go in the store, it would flick open, it'd lock up, and they'd be like, okay, that's good enough for $30. They're not going to be worried about blade centering. They're not going to be worried any at all about the grind and how it's done. As long as it's a knife, the average guy is happy, or at least content. As long as it doesn't do things bad, as long as it's not rubbing the liners, and as long as it'll cut something, the average guy is happy. If we want to keep the quality control up, it's those of us in the community that are going to have to raise our voices. And that's what I'm doing, and that's what I hope you guys do down in the comments. Let me know your opinions if you've had good or bad experiences over the past year with these various knife companies. Let them know if you've had some bad experiences. Let them know that these other companies are coming for them. They are not going to let them have a free pass. Ganzo, Ontario, the BRK that makes the Essie knives, and Kaiser, and we very soon, from what I understand, are coming hard at that reasonable price and that budget price knife group. The competition's out there. Will those companies that we've known for years rise to the occasion? Let me know what you think. I'm going to stop talking here. Well, no, I'm not. One more thing. As we roll into 2017, we're of course going to have more knife content, more knife reviews. We still have a backlog of knife reviews to get done. And of course, we're still going to have Drinkin and Thinkin as long as I can come up with subjects, or you guys can come up with subjects for me to talk about. And if you have subjects for me to talk about, down there in the comments, I note them down. I may not get to them right away if something more I don't know, something that fits the situation better comes up, but I will get to those topics. And I think we're going to have, well, I know we're going to have some more how-to. We talked about that last week. We're going to be taking apart one of these and doing all kinds of fun stuff to it. And I think I have a Kershaw leak we're going to mess with too. And as soon as it warms up, we're going to do more firearms content, and we may even get some of the small cannons out. I haven't made a final decision on the cannons. I've got to get some stuff built to do that. But, we may see what we can blow through with a cannon. Anyhow, I really appreciate you guys stopping by to hang out with me for a few minutes. Be sure to leave your comments and opinions below. Let's have a conversation about this, guys. And if you would like, share, or subscribe, that would be awesome. At this point, we're approaching 900 subscribers and headed for that big 1,000 mark. And it'd just be great to see that happen. The view counts are there. Let's get the subscribership up, and that allows us to do more things. Anyhow, guys, you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.